Nei, men hei sann du, og velkommen tilbake til The Stanley Parable. Jeg har kikket litt rundt omkring på YouTube, i hvert fall på Carl sin video, og funnet ut at jeg har gått glipp av en veldig viktig slutt som vi skal gå gjennom. Men jeg først også finner ut en annen.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oi. Det var en liten ending. Jeg vet at det er
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time
jeg
before he
vet at
found
det
the
er en
others,
ending her, men den kan være litt vanskelig å komme til.
Just a matter of time.
Vi skal prøve. Hei. Vi må komme oss opp på stolen først. Nei, en til. Ja. Så. Nei. Ok. Der ja. Så var den der croucher i dette spillet. Der ja.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Dette så et av de beste spillene ever. I hvert fall i nærheten av The Game of the Year. Det må jeg si. Dette for så vidt grunnen til at jeg ventet tilbake til dette for denne ene episoden. Eller flere. Nå vet jeg jo ikke helt hvordan det blir med YouTube, egentlig. Men jeg ventet tilbake til det på grunn av de 2 sluttene som jeg har vært gjennom nå, og 2 til. Vi skal gjennom 2 til. Skal jeg bare ta begin the game again. Så skal vi gjøre akkurat den samme slutten om igjen. Så.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Det vet
What
vi.
did it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure.
Sånn. Ja.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like
Men det
right
ikke det
now.
som er
You could have done
gøy.
it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Oi.
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. Did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Nå synes dere jeg er quite unbearable nå, siden jeg spiller dette spillet her, eller? In the game again. Det var den slutten. Så har vi en slutt som kan ta... Oi! Som tar litt tid å komme til.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nei, han skal så vente, faktisk. Han skal bare vente. Jeg skal se hvor stor tålmodighet han fortelleren har først, før jeg går over til den slutten jeg snakket om. Kan jeg ikke si noe? Bare sløs bort tida mi, egentlig. Ja vel da. Vi får bare gjøre det vi skal gjøre da.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew
Dere
it
husker den der
perfectly well.
telefonen?
Perhaps he
Vel,
wanted to
vi skal
stop by
tilbake
the
til den.
employee lounge
Det
first,
er
just
telefonen
to
som man skulle
admire it.
ta for liksom snakke med ko.
Yes,
Ja,
truly a
Stanley.
room worth admiring.
Men
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nej, den ska vi lockar den igen. Vi lockar den igen. Alltså.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okej, då ska vi upp på här.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
For her?
This is it, Stanley.
Yeah, right.
Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
Nej.
You need to be the one to do this. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
How did you figure it out?
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack and crack."
Eller bara säga, jag må gå på toalett då.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay.